Hi, how are you? I mentioned in a previous video that I'm a big fan of Ronco records. Now, as I explained in that video, which I will link to at the end of this video, Ronco was kind of like the K-Tel of England. They released a whole series of compilations back in the early 1980s, and these compilations featured the hits of the day. And as I explained in my earlier video, what's really cool and what I really like about these Ronco records, usually about half of the songs I do recognize. Half of the songs were also hits here in North America. But the other half of the songs are completely new to me in most cases. Songs I've never even heard of and never even came across on the internet. So it's really a fascinating way to discover songs that I missed the first time around. And I recently ordered two more to add to my collection, which I'm going to share with you today in this video. I ordered both of these online. One record came from Finland, the other came from Germany. So the first one I have here is actually called Chart Runners. And we see this really kind of 80s futuristic graphic. But what I find really funny is that this guy who's supposed to look really futuristic is actually wearing a tracksuit and sneakers. I find that kind of funny. Anyway, this is called Chart Runners Part 1. And as always, we have somewhere on the album it will say Ronco as seen on TV. And it says up here, now this is Part 1. It says get Chart Runners Part 2 free when you buy this album. And I noticed that Ronco did this. They would release two albums of the same title, but there would be a part 1 and a part 2. And if you bought part 1 or part 2, you would get the other album for free, which I think is super cool. I would have loved that back in the day. So that's the front of the album. We see it says here starring Bell Stars, Phil Collins, Icehouse, Culture Club, U2, Yazoo, and many more. And on the back, again, it looks like a typical Ronco album. There's always graphics showing some of the artists featured on the compilation. We have a track listing of all the songs. And again, this one has songs by Phil Collins, Icehouse, Dionne Warwick, Culture Club, U2, In Deep, Yazoo, Aztec Camera, China Crisis, a lot of really cool new wave bands. And again, I can, just by looking at this track listing, I know many of these songs, but there are a few that I've never heard of before, and a few artists that I've never heard of before. And that's what I love about the Ronco compilations. They're just a really cool way of discovering these really obscure artists that I'd never heard of before. So this is the record that I ordered from a dealer in Finland, and believe it or not, I can't remember what I paid for shipping, but the actual price I paid for this album was €1. So for just €1. And that's another thing I like about these Ronco compilations. You can usually find them really, really cheap. Now the next one that I got, I love the cover artwork of this one. I've mentioned before that I'm a big fan of the Mad Max movies. And this is a complete homage to Mad Max, or maybe you could call it a ripoff. I don't know. I'll call it an homage because that's nicer sounding. But basically, this is called the Hit Squad Night Clubbing, and it says over 60 minutes non-stop disco. And I find it interesting they're still using the word disco. And there's also a little sticker. It says pay no more than £4.99 for this album. This sticker is removable. And again, we see the Ronco as seen on TV, and it says there are bands on here: Freeze, Casey and the Sunshine Band, Galaxy, Kid Creole and the Coconuts. A really eclectic mix of artists. And on the back, again, a typical Ronco release. We have some images of some of the artists. And again, we have some really cool songs. We actually have an extended 12-inch version of Double Dutch by Malcolm McLaren, Do It Again, Billie Jean by Clubhouse, IOU by Freeze, and so on, Stool Pigeon, Kid Creole and the Coconuts. This tune, Juicy Fruit by Mtume, if you look at a lot of compilations that came out at that time, that song was on every other compilation. It's crazy. Whoever Mtume's manager was, he probably went to great lengths to make sure it was as licensed as much as possible to as many different record labels as possible. Because again, that song is on so many compilations from that time. We also have the 12-inch version of Give It Up by Casey and the Sunshine Band. This band Galaxy featuring Phil Fearon. What's really odd, I've never seen this before on a compilation, they have two songs by the same artist back to back. So Wait Until Tonight My Love by Galaxy featuring Phil Fearon, and then right after that Dancing Tight by Galaxy featuring Phil Fearon, and some other great tracks as well. So that's just my little look at two more Ronco compilation LPs that I'm very happy to add to my collection. I love the artwork. I love the eclectic nature of these compilations. They're just a lot of fun. And again, they're fairly easy to find on the internet. They're usually fairly affordable. And I think so far I've got maybe, just estimating, I probably have somewhere between, I don't know, 12 to 16 Ronco compilation albums. And again, I'm mostly interested in the ones that came out sort of in the early 80s. And I've made up my own personal checklist of every compilation that they made. And again, as of right now, I think I own between 12 to 16 of the Ronco compilations. There's still a few more to go. So hopefully someday I will collect them all. Thank you for watching. Hope you can join us again next time. Please, as always, subscribe to the channel. Click on that little red square in the bottom right corner. It won't cost you anything. There's no obligation, but it will really help my channel grow. Leave a comment, give us a thumbs up. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks again. We'll see you again next time. Take care. Bye-bye.